Recording in progress.
Do we have a quorum and do we have stakeholders online?
Good morning, Chair. Currently, I only see two stakeholders online. That's Asisa and Irfa. I've sent follow-up messages to the other two presenters. And Mr. Khadebe just joined, so there's 6 members on the platform. Thanks, Chair.
So, okay, the Black Organization Youth and Masito have not yet joined. We don't want to get stuck in the process if we call a stakeholder is not there. But if Asisa is there, I think we'll have to start, and as you say, we form a quorum. This week is quite a very busy week. We have got budgets in the afternoon, so we don't have to have a very long meeting. Let me officially open the meeting and welcome all members of the Standing Committee Finance, and welcome our support teams. Welcome the stakeholders that are going to make submissions, both oral and written submissions. The media and everybody who's in attendance. Do we have apologies?
Chair, the only apology is Mr. Beasley is attending another committee meeting. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you again. The purpose of today's meeting is for public hearings on the Revenue Laws Amendment Bill, B5 of 2025. The object of the bill is to amend the Income Tax Act of 1962 so as to amend certain definitions, to amend certain provisions of the Revenue Laws Amendment Act 2024, and to provide for matters connected therewith. That is the object, the purpose of this bill. Asisa, are you ready?
Yes, Chair, I'm ready.
Okay, please fly to your presentation, and let me indicate to stakeholders that you have got 15 minutes. Please do self-timing by your computer or the phone in front of you. I don't have to disrupt you when you go beyond 15 minutes. Thanks very much. Over to you, Asisa, 15 minutes.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Honourable Chair and Honourable Members. I'm Audrey Messerschmidt from the Association for Savings and Investment, the CISA. Just a reminder that we represent our members who are retirement fund administrators, investment managers, long-term insurers, and collective investment schemes. These are all service providers to retirement funds. Our members understand and have implemented the administrative systems and other business processes that the two-pot system requires. They interact regularly with retirement fund members and understand the difficulties that these individuals often face. To reiterate, we welcome the introduction of the two-pot system, and we believe that it will ultimately have a fundamental positive impact on the capital available to fund members on retirement. Most of the amendments in the bill are supported, while some further adjustments are proposed to others. We support the proposal for the flexibility on the seeding date calculation. In National Treasury's presentation to the committee in April, they explained the inconsistency for the date of the seeding calculation for members of a provident fund who remained in the same fund, or members of a provident preservation fund who were 55 years or older as of 1 March 2021, who decide to opt into the two-pot system. The current law requires the calculation on the last day of the month in which the election was made to opt in. And before finalization of this current law, some funds drafted their rules, and these were approved by the FSCA for the calculation to be as at 31 August, the day before the implementation date of 1 September. This created an inconsistency as two different approaches have been communicated to fund members and incorporated into their approved rules. This bill provides the flexibility on the seeding date and calculation method and aligns the law with the fund rules as communicated to retirement fund members. We support this flexibility in the bill. We also support the corrections to sections 37D1D 1 capital B and 37D1E of the pension funds, which have been corrected. This will provide clarity on how these deductions should be made and ensure consistency with other sections 37D deductions. And that will ensure that it's applied proportionately across the three components. We support this correction in the bill. We also support the alignment of the definition of retirement fund. The amendment affected by the 2024 Taxation Laws Amendment Act, which became effective on the 1st of March, to paragraph B2 of the proviso of the definition of retirement annuity fund, does not align with the amendment in the 2024 Revenue Laws Amendment Act, which became effective on the 1st of September 2024. We support the alignment proposed by the bill. Although we support most of the technical corrections, we feel that there are still 3 further technical corrections needed. In Clause 1F, the reference to retirement interest in the vested component in subparagraph 2 of paragraph B of the proviso to the definition of retirement annuity fund should be corrected to total members' retirement interest in the vested component, as this will align with the definitions in the Act. In Clause 1I, a reference to dependent needs to be inserted next to nominee at the beginning of paragraph G of the proviso to the definition of savings component. In Clause 1J, the further proviso to paragraph B of the proviso to the definition of savings component includes the words, or as may be determined by the rules of the fund. This amendment deals with allowing the flexibility for the seeding date and calculation method for Provident Fund members and Provident Preservation Fund members who opt into the two-pot system. The flexibility is welcomed, but we believe the wording goes too far. The seeding amount can only be calculated on one of 2 days, 31st of August 2024, or the last day of the month in which the election is made. The seeding amount cannot be calculated on a date other than one of the 2 above dates. The words "or as may be determined by the rules of the fund" create the impression that the fund can also calculate the seeding amount on a different date. And we propose that the wording should change by deleting "or" and "maybe" to make sure that the calculation can only be done on one of those two dates. I want to reiterate that ASISA members support the broad principles and aims of the system. The two-pot system has introduced a significant change to the retirement system in South Africa, and this bill introduces welcome refinement of the current income tax legislation, but some changes to the bill are required as discussed. Thank you.
Thank very much, Asisa. You have also been very economic with time. Thanks. Black Organization Youth Boy, NPC, are you there?
Chair, the next two I don't see on the platform, and they're also not responding to any messages I sent through to them.
Okay. Let's take Irfa.
Good morning, Chair, and good morning, members. My name is Nancy Andrews, and I represent the Institute for Retirement Funds Africa. Thank you for this opportunity. Can I share?
I just gave you Carl's permission, Nancy.
Thank you. Please let me know if you can. You can see?
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. The Institute for Retirement Funds Africa is a representation of all stakeholders for retirement funds. In particular, we actually focus on members and benefit outcomes for members. So we're very supportive of the implementation of the two-pot system. We believe that it has actually worked well for thus far. And equally, we are extremely grateful for the opportunities that both National Treasury and the regulators, both SARS and the FSCA, have given us while engaging to finalize this legislation. We don't have too many comments, some of which ASISA has already mentioned. So before we actually get into our comments, the one issue that we would like to raise is this question about retention of vested rights, particularly around the issue of transfers and when on retirement or when leaving the fund through withdrawal. And this was a member was always allowed to actually split the transfer on retirement or withdrawal from the fund. And through the new legislation, we see that this is absent from the legislation. We understand this may be a policy change, but we would like to understand why this change came about. Obviously, prior to the implementation of two-pot, we saw that this was in the legislation. Members were allowed to do this. Equally, through various iterations of the Revenue Laws Bill, we've also seen it. And then in the final version, in this draft 2025 version, it's now absent. So we would like to understand what's behind this policy change, and we would like to actually request that Treasury reconsider this, seeing that it is a vested right that members were entitled to prior to the implementation of two-pot. And then again, as ASISA also alluded to, we've made some technical corrections in our submission, one particularly relating to the substitution of nominee or dependent with the definition of beneficiary as defined in the Pension Funds Act. But both nominee and dependent is not defined in the Income Tax Act, and the aligned version to the Pension Funds Act would be the word beneficiary as described in the Pension Funds Act. In relation to the flexibility, this was for calculation of seeding. This was um, the Institute for Retirement Funds Africa welcomed this opportunity and appreciate that National Treasury understood the challenges the industry was facing, given the rules were actually registered. Again, we appreciate the flexibility that they involve. There's a slight wording change. We think that the word "or," and we've made that submission, should be deleted to actually create only two dates for calculation of seeding, one as per the 31st of August and two as determined in terms of the rules of the fund. And then the effective date of subsection 1E, there was a concern raised through our membership as to why this effective date is 1 March 2025 as opposed to all the other dates being 1 September 2024. I understand that this could be as a result of the changes to the Taxation Laws Amendment Act of 2024. And if that is the case, we just needed clarity on that. Thank you, Chair, and thank you, members. That's all from us.
Thank you, Nancy. Irfa. Told Mr. Masilo is here. Mr. Masilo Spiler, are you there? Alan,
Yes, Chair, he is
him
on
out
the
or
platform.
is he-
No, he is on the platform, Chair.
Mr. Masilo Spiler, are you there? And the Black Organization Youth have not yet connected.
Chair. Masilo's mic is off now, or on. Nancy, can I please ask you to stop screen sharing? Thank you.
Ntate Masilo, are you there?
Yes, I am. Sir.
Yeah, we are struggling to get hold of you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but it
I'm not
sounds
sure if my strength of signal.
it's not that strong. Okay, go ahead. Don't switch on the video. I'm not sure whether you have got a presentation to share on the screen.
Well, I will be using my paper only because I did not really prepare the presentation.
Okay, can you share that paper with us? Can you send it to Alan either by WhatsApp or email or a Wutle or a Tebu?
Yes, Alan does have the copy.
No, okay. You have got 15 minutes. Over to you. Please present.
Okay. Thank you, and good day to you all. I wish to begin by expressing my sincere gratitude for the opportunity to appear before the Standing Committee on Finance and to present key insights from my written submission on the Revenue Loss Amendment Bill. I am Asilo Spiler, and I speak today as a concerned citizen and as a participant in South Africa's real economy, a space where tax policy directly affects job creation, youth enterprise and national development. My first point would be the spirit of the Amendment Bill, whereby the Revenue Laws Amendment Bill comes to a crucial moment in our country's fiscal and social economic trajectory. South Africa needs a tax regime that is not only efficient in revenue collection, but equitable access and responsive to modern economic dynamics. I support the intent of the bill to amend and modernize definitions within the Income Tax Act of 1962 and to refine provisions of the Revenue Laws Amendment Act of 2024. In doing so, we can build a legal framework that enables compliance while reducing administrative burdens. And my second key consideration, please allow me to briefly outline 4 core areas raised in my submission. Number 1, clarity and modernization of definitions. The current text vocabulary must be updated to include point 1, gig economy, income. Number 2, crypto and digital asset gains. And lastly, informal sector earnings. This ensures alignment with the realities of a digitized and informalized economy, especially for youth and township entrepreneurs. Yeah, that's the page. Township entrepreneurs to say. And then point 2, predictability and stability in revenue law. Frequent changes to tax legislation without sufficient notice undermine long-term business planning, especially for SMEs. So I recommend the committee to consider a 5-year forward roadmap for proposed amendments, which will improve legislative certainty. Point 3, simplification and accessibility. Our tax laws must be made more accessible through this point. Point 1, plain language versions of legislation. Point 2, provincial workshops post-adoption. Lastly, which is point 3, and local language radio campaigns. This is especially vital in rural and township areas, where awareness remains low but compliance potential is high. Point 4, equity and enablement, where we see taxation must reflect progressive justice. This means higher accountability for high income earners, and then relief and incentives for job creating SMEs, also a full rollout of digital South African revenue service platforms in underserved regions. So the role of small business. A small business operator, I can attest to as a small business operator, I can attest to the challenges of navigating tax compliance in a resource-constrained environment. We see SMEs that are not unwilling, or we are often unable due to complexity and cost. So by simplifying thresholds, enhancing tax education, and offering rebates for local procurement or renewable energy investments, this bill can become a tool for growth, not just compliance. Then I give recommendations for strengthening the bill. In conclusion, I respectfully urge this committee to consider the following. 1, clear and inclusive terminology that reflects evolving revenue models. Number 2, incentive structures that reward job creation and innovation. Number 3, digital infrastructure for fair and efficient tax administration. Lastly, a mechanism for post-implementation impact assessment to evaluate performance and equity. My closing remarks will be that, honorable members, taxation is not merely a technical function. It is a social contract. Its fairness, transparency, and accessibility reflect our democratic commitment to equity and development. I thank you for this opportunity to contribute to that issue.
Real Spoiler for your presentation, and also be mindful of time. You have used fewer minutes than allocated. Thanks very much. Is the Black Organization Youth there, Alan?
Still not on the platform, Chair.
Pardon?
They're still not on the platform, and they're not responding to any of my messages.
Okay. Now let's proceed. We'll see how we deal with them. As long as they've made their return submission, that will suffice. Let me proceed to item 3. Committee members to ask clarity-seeking questions and/or make comments. Over to you, honorable members. Those are the 3 submissions that we have received today. So let's engage them. Honorable Van Rooyen, over to you.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Good morning to yourself and all members in attendance and other officials who are in attendance. I'm just concerned of how the last presentation was structured as compared to the first 2 presentations, because they were zooming into specific clauses of the bill. So that was guiding us in terms of what is it that they are supporting, what is it that they are not supporting. But the last presentation, it was more of a generic presentation, of course, with specifications there and there. But as to how those submissions must be accommodated into the bill, or where in the bill should those recommendations or maybe suggestions be accommodated, it was not clear to me. So I'm not sure, Chair, in terms of processing, Chair, because I don't want us to come out of this meeting and then take the last presentation as just a compliance exercise. I think that Sepaila is trying to bring a certain angle to the mooted amendment. So I'm not sure in terms of processing, Chair. I think you will guide me there. How is this going to be done? Because it seems as if he was not specific to say in this bill, there is this area that I think should be looked at, and this is my suggestion, as compared to the first 2 presentations. Your guidance will be highly appreciated, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Van Rooyen. What we'll do, we'll engage Mr. Spoiler to assist us to pinpoint as to, on the bill, which are the areas that he wants to make submissions to, and specifically what is it that is proposing on such clauses. I think he might have not been here for previously, so it is our responsibility as public representatives to assist members of the public as to how do you comply with making submissions. So we'll talk to him. Thanks. Honorable Squat.
Thanks, Chair, and thanks to the presentations that have been made this morning. Just to assist, Chair, in relation to the proposal of that has been made on clause 1J, which is focusing on the flexibility for the sitting date and the calculation method, and beyond the 2 conditions of the 31st August 2024 or the last day of the month in which the election is made, which other day would a fund use in the context of the provision, or as may be determined by the rules of the fund? And the question is, what would be the risk of the broader provision provided, so that we're able to understand what is the issue there? And Chair, I think I would want to really agree with Honorable Van Rooyen in terms of the submission that is made by Masilo Spyler, that perhaps because the presentation or submission is not really linked to the bill before the committee, and hence it will definitely require a different focus by the standing committee, as we have illustrated, that perhaps if it was clarified, but as well to find, I think the committee needs to find a better way of really, assisting, but also making sure that we do not just, put aside what Mr. Spyler has attempted to do, but encourage submissions to the committee. And lastly, Chair, it's very clear that there is indeed more support for the bill, and therefore, as a recommendation, the bill needs to be supported. And perhaps National Treasury needs to also respond to the proposals that are proposed amendments that are made by ASISA. If they can do that, I think that would be helpful. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Honorable Squati. Honorable Mauta.
Thank you, Chair. Greetings to yourself, colleagues, and the stakeholders on the platform. My question is just one to IRFA. When National Treasury came to the presentation back in April, we raised a concern about the employers who deduct monies from the employees, but never sends them forward. So when the employees are supposed to get their benefits, they find that there's nothing. I don't hear them saying anything about it. Do they have maybe a comment on it? And what would they think should be the solution or recommendation to the National Treasury to assist? Because at the end of the day, it's our people who are penalized. You work for so many years, you're 50 years old, you want to now tap into some of your benefits, only to learn that you've actually worked for nothing. Your money has never been deposited. So what recommendations would they make in that regard? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Mauta. Okay. Let's go back to the stakeholders for them to respond to the questions raised by honorable members. Let me start with Asisa.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. The question on the flexibility on the dates, it is very important to make sure that the fund members are not confused. Those were the two dates that were communicated when our members were preparing for the implementation of two-pot, and that has also been the consistent message from Treasury all along, that the seeding calculation can only happen on one of those two dates. If you broaden the provision to allow for other dates, it would create further confusion and inconsistent application, which could be deemed to be unfair if it's not consistently applied. I must also say that, I want to add that the bill that we currently have before us were urgent amendments that we needed to make sure that the two-pot implementation is technically legal, and that we engaged with the parliamentary committees on which items have to be included in this bill. There are still other issues that need to be sorted out, that we believe National Treasury will do in the next taxation laws amendment bill, proposals that we made to them in November last year. But in terms of this bill, these are the issues that we support at the moment and the few corrections that we require. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister. Mr. Spaila, are you there? Ntate Spaila. Okay. He seems to be having a challenge of connectivity. Erfa?
Thank you, Chair. The question actually related to employers making deductions from member salaries and not paying it over to the fund. I think that was a different forum where this was actually discussed with National Treasury and the members of Parliament. We did not actually consider this that question or that issue for the submission of this bill, because it's not actually covered in this bill. It's actually dealt with by the Financial Sector Conduct Authority. And we understand from them, from a recent meeting, is that there are discussions happening at NEDLAC through the industry, and they're busy looking, which they've now included us in the discussions, to actually look at how look for solutions to help those members whose employers do not actually pay contributions to the fund. For purposes of this discussion, we actually didn't actually include anything to that effect because it's not actually covered in this piece of legislation.
Okay. Thank you. We seem to be having a challenge with Mr. Spaila. We'll call him and talk to him as members have raised issues in regard to his presentation. There does not seem to be a follow-up question. It means for today we are done with the public hearings. Do we have announcements?
Yes, Chair, thank you. Just a reminder about the meeting at 6 o'clock this evening. I sent the link at the start of this meeting, so the link should be in your inboxes. Thanks, John.
Okay. Okay. Honorable Van Rooyen.
Okay, Chair, I just wanted to check with the Secretariat, when is the feedback from National Treasury or maybe SARS on the public hearings? When is it scheduled to happen?
That's next week, Tuesday, Mr. Van Rooyen.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Thanks very much, honorable members, and thanks to our stakeholders who came to make presentations. We take your submissions very serious. We'll factor them in when we consider amending the legislation. And thanks to the parliamentary support team, the media, and everybody who's in attendance. The meeting is adjourned. We'll meet again tomorrow, same time, same platform. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.